Okay, in the last video I showed you how to do the knit stitch and what it looks like when you do every row a knit row, which is a garter stitch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do purl stitches. So next row, turn the needle. When you're doing knit stitches, what I showed you in the last video is that you take the needle and you insert it in the front of the stitch, front to back, left to right. For a purl stitch, you're working at the front. You take the needle and you insert it from the back to the front. So a knit stitch is front to back, a purl stitch is back to front. And then you take your tail, you wrap it around the needle, you pull it through, the loop through, then you slip the stitch off. So you go from the back to the front, wrap the wool around the needle, and pull it through. Wrap the wool around the needle, pull it through, slip the stitch off. Again, from the back to the front, wrap the wool around, pull through a loop, slip the stitch off. And as you practice this stitch, you'll be able to get faster and faster with it, and it will become a single smooth motion. Instead of pulling the loop through then slipping it off, you'll pull a loop through and slip the stitch off at the same time, like I do. Okay, I'm just trying to get to the end of the row so I can turn it around and show you what a combination of knit and purl stitches is going to look like. One row knit, one row purl is called stocking stitch or stockinette stitch, depending on which country you're from. And basically this is what it looks like. So the first 4 rows are garter stitch, the next 2 rows are stocking stitch. So I'll just quickly do another couple of rows so that you can better see the difference between the two stitch patterns. Now once you've mastered these 2 stitches, a knit stitch and a purl stitch, once you've read up or practiced a little bit with increases, decreases, you will be able to knit pretty much anything. But knitting does take time to master. The techniques are relatively simple, but it involves manual dexterity and muscle memory. So you're going to have to knit quite a bit to get to the point where you are comfortable and you can knit with ease. Okay, so that's a knit row that I've just done. You're starting to see the stocking stitch fabric. Now I'll do the purl row, and again, just to demonstrate, you go from the back to the front, wrap the wool around, pull the loop through, slip the stitch off. Sorry about my thumb getting in the way. And we'll just quickly do this row. And there we go. Now we've got 4 rows of garter stitch, which are the bumpy bits down the bottom, and we've got 4 rows of stocking stitch. And you'll probably notice that although you've got 4 rows in both, the stocking stitch is actually a little bit wider or deeper, taller than the garter stitch. The way the stitches go together in garter stitch compresses the rows slightly. So there you have it. that is how to do purl stitches and what it looks like when you combine it with a purl row with a knit row to get stocking stitch. See you in the next video.